This is High Noon and welcome! Are you prepared to draw? I hope so! And I don't mean any of that liver-lizzied, gun-slinging stuff. And I don't mean any of that arty stuff. I'm here to do that. You all will just draw together, become family, friends, help each other, support each other, all that stuff. This is a place to have a good old time, friends and frolic, and all that stuff. Okay? This is it.
Hello, 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 hello. How is everybody? I hope you're all doing good today. Just give me a second or two here. Just making sure we post to the places that we love posting to make sure everybody knows that we are here. Just putting a few ats in the Twitter one. So. So how is everybody doing? Let's see. I'm just going through a list. I gotta make this more efficient. Let's see. B. C. Okay, I think we got enough. I don't want to stop the stream too much based on that. Okay, so we've shared it out. To a few people. Grab our thing. We, of course, are, well, not of course, but we are on page 2 of Coloring Snowdrift. We are working on panel 1, trying to bring everything in tight. For the coloring, we hadn't finished page 1, but we were working on it for 4 or 5 sessions. So we figured give this a few sessions. I think what I'll do is probably do about 2 sessions each one, get as much as I can on, maybe work on off stream a little bit, and then if it's not done when I'm done gone through all the pages that I have in coloring, I'll come back to it in the lineup and we'll do some more on it. And hopefully some will have been done before then, but it depends on where it is in the lineup and how much, I'll probably work more on page 1 off screen since it's had the most time. So page 2, might be where it is. So we'll work on page 2 this week because I think the first day we worked on it was on Friday. So we'll do this week on this one, and then come back, go on page 3, do it for next week, and then the next week move on to page 4, and and just keep, and then each week, and then like I said, come back. Okay, so I think that is all of the snow-covered mountains. I think I am going to change the color on that eventually. I just don't know to what at the moment because this color seems a bit off to me for the mountains. Okay, so this dark gray here. I think I'm also going to use this dark gray on the rims. Okay, I should probably get this figured out. Okay, that's looking good. Oh, we need to do that basket, recolor it. I'm not sure where it is on this. Is that the first one? Yeah, it is. Okay, well, we'll get this door done first. Since this is okay, so like I said, I believe I'm going to make this thing. Let's see whether we can grab in there. Okay. Let's see, can we grab in there? No, we can't. So we just have to grab in the one at the moment. And then we'll come down to the gray and we'll fill it in to make that a little easier. Okay, so let's see, we need there and there, and we can't do in there because, well, there's no line there. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I might have to put, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to put a little bit of a line there, just, oh, we do not want gray there. There we go. let's just a little bit more of that. Okay, there we go. Let's go back to our gray and just get that filled in. Okay, let's get that. I think we took just a little bit too much out of there. There we go. That's looking good. Okay, so now we're gonna go grab the gray and start filling out. Okay, so okay, so yeah, this is the hey Fly Fox, how are you? Long time no see. You got an echo there, brother? Why do I have an echo? Am I? Yes, I am working on Snowdrift page 2 as drawn by John Dillard. Do I still have the echo? I don't see it up anywhere. Oh, let me. I also forgot to go into Discord. No, you sound like. Oh no. Oh, okay. Okay. And yeah, for anybody who wants to come on air, just talk or whatever, of course, my Discord is open, the on air portion. So, yeah. This is page 2. Got some of the basic colors in all the panels. I'm working on tightening them up. Have you? No, I haven't always used Clip Studio for coloring. I knew by Manga Studio. I used it for a little bit as Manga Studio for a couple things. But when I seen people using it, using photo, back when I would use Photoshop and Illustrator, John Dillard. He's doing a more simple type drawing of his, not making it super rendered, costing me a little less than his normal price because of that. Hopefully, if this does well and this campaign does well, I'll be doing this in the Canadian Shield #2 together. Um, I'll be able to maybe up what I can pay him per page. Thus, even the art will get even better. And then if my third campaign, or technically fourth if you include the coloring book, if it goes well, even more and more, artists. I eventually could have 7 different artists on things if things go well. And probably 7 different colorists. And, 7 different writers eventually. But how's you're doing a book too, right? How is it coming along? Have you seen my pages from the Canadian Shield 2 yet, Fly Fox? I've got 9 pages done of them in color. Well, different artists than, not me as the artist, but I'm the colorist on these projects. Hey, Jeff. How are you? Oh, Jeff probably hasn't seen them either, though. We just... Oh, yeah. I'm nearly done with it, but started working on backup story for Doug Garrett. I don't think I've seen pages from issue 2. Why not? Here, let me show you guys. These are the ones that are colored. I'm bringing them up. I'll probably show the... Not sure what order it'll show them in. Doing good. Debugging is included. No, that's good. No, the suit cannot be... Well, the man like Cougar out of the suit can be burned, but inside the suit he cannot be burned. The suit, basically, he's almost like Superman. Probably a slightly less powerful Superman because of the suit. The suit is what gives him, the set. He doesn't have like X-ray vision. Well, no. Well, he might eventually have X-ray vision, but he has more telescopic vision at the moment. He can see. Well, I mean to say he doesn't have X-ray. No, heat vision, or cold breath. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you saw, but there's page 1. Will he eventually be able to take his logo off the suit and throw it at people? No. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. And page 9. I have pages 11 and 12 uncolored, but we'll be doing those eventually, coloring them on here. And I've got 10 pages of Snowdrift that, well, 8 of them are uncolored, pages 3 through 8, and I'm working on Snowdrift page 2 right now. So there's a look at pots right here, mother. Since you're probably going to take it out of the room on me.
Hi, whomever.
That was me, mother.
Who are you talking to?
My chat, which right now I believe consists of Flyfox Pro and Jeff Potts. Not sure if anybody else is out there. Hey, Joshua. We got Joshua in the chat now. How are you today, Joshua? Okay, where is... Oh, that's... Oh, here's... Oh, we went to layer 2. So we should have been doing the snow right now. Oops. So, how is everybody's day today thus far? I have to get my mom to turn that down. Okay, I'll be right back. You're eating breakfast? Oh, that's cool.
Want to turn that down a couple notches, please?
I might. I'm all right. I might be. I might. I might to go comic book store. I might go to the comic book store and look through the discount trade paperbacks. Cool, cool, cool. Hey, Sketch, how are you? Morning chat. Oh, that's good. You are okay. Okay, then go for that. Okay. There we go. Greetings, fellow human. So when is the Canadian Shield 2 campaign going to drop? Well, I have, we'll say, 11 pages of the Canadian Shield, 9 of which are colored. I have 10 pages of Snowdrift, neither of which is fully colored, uh, 2 of which are semi-colored. Um, so at this point, it will probably be sometime next year, I'm hoping. Um, I'm hoping early next year. I'm pretty sure that I should have all the pages to Snowdrift by the end of the year. Not color, but at least drawn up and given to me. Can you guys hear the TV in the background? I think the biggest thing for me is getting the pages of the Canadian Shield because that guy's he's good. He's good. He's just a bit slow. Well, it's good that you can't hear the TV in the background. Okay. Well, I said that. You know what? I'm probably gonna mess everything up, but this should be probably down here. And so, like I was saying, if anybody wants to come on, the Discord is open in the usual spot. Um, okay, let's see what we got. Oh, too much snow over here. Let's see. Good, and what else? No. Okay, let's see. So has anybody else watched the new Netflix He-Man? And if so, what do you think of it? I didn't think it was too bad. Not the Revelation one, the more kid version. It's definitely, to me, it's definitely not He-Man, but it's better than the other one. So yeah, with Canadian Shield number 2, you will be getting your first villain, cross comics villain. So hopefully people are psyched about that. Okay, so do we got everything here? I wonder. Oh, we need to do something with that basket. We need to do something with there. And looks like there's. Oh, we need to do some stuff on this door. And of course, we need to do something inside the door. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there yet. Whether it's make it black or something. Well, you know what? I want to do something with the doorknob here. Okay, so I'm going to take this color out of here. Now, put another layer in just over. Hello?
What's up, Rick?
Not much. Yourself, Sketch?
I'm okay. We don't have an echo today, do we?
I don't think so. There was one for a few seconds there as you
Yeah, I
joined.
hadn't. I hadn't turned the
But,
volume off on the YouTube.
yeah. I know, that's always. When do you turn the volume off so you can hear? Well, not that there's always a lot of audio going on with me, but, for, various streams you're about to join, when do I turn the audio off? Just before.
Usually, I wait to hear the echo and then turn it off to see if the echo goes away. If not, then I jump out because
Yeah.
it's that. I'm losing my voice a little bit.
Yeah. But I just more mean, if you know, I don't usually wait for the echo. I usually go turn it off like half a second or a second before go over and click myself. It's everybody's different because you just don't really want to miss a lot of the conversation that's being had or whatever. So you don't want to miss something when you're coming in. So it's like, what am I missing?
I actually cut the video off right now when you were talking about the He-Man show, the new one.
Ah, yeah, I
I
was
haven't
just,
seen it. I've been wanting to watch it, but I just have been watching other things.
yeah, I
It's
understand.
not that it interests me. I just want to prove a fact that, which is funny because you said it and Neon from Clownfish has said it, that it's actually a better show than the Revelations show, even though it's technically not He-Man.
Yeah,
Which is, I mean, it still makes it a He-Man show though. Think about
yeah,
it. It's kind of like Transformers Armada. It's not really a Transformers show. It's like an offshoot,
yeah.
like other worlds.
Yeah. It's like one of the reimagining of like the Transformers. Yeah, that's a good example.
Well, I only thought of it because of the fact that Transformers Armada was actually running side by side with the He-Man remake, if you remember, the one from the early 2000s.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's why I remembered it. I'm like, wait, I mean, technically, Transformers Armada, a lot of the Transformers shows are basically the same thing. The ones that don't have to do with, you could even say the same about Prime. Prime is more based on the movies than it is on
Yeah.
old Transformer lore.
Oh yeah, like what is it? I think there's except for Beast Wars and
Well,
Beast
no,
Machine.
Beast Wars is actually based in G1.
Well, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was sort of saying. Except for Beast Wars and Beast Machines, I don't think any of the other Transformers is based off of the original.
Yeah, none of us recognize Beast Machines. It ended at Beast Wars,
Yeah, I wish. Well, there were
which is
some things I liked about Beast Machines, but I can transform or whatever, like that. I think that idea was sort of stupid. I
well,
must
I
admit.
mean, it's taken from the Beast Wars idea because if you remember, a lot of people that were Transformers fans didn't like the whole maximize and terrorize thing, but it became a staple of their show.
Yeah, but I don't think they needed to say it to transform. I'm pretty sure I've seen them transform several times without saying it in the series.
No, actually, I think they actually did. 'Cause I watched it recently, and they always say it.
You watched
I
it
can go back and
recently.
check. I can go back and check, but I have a friend that's like he owns the discs, and he's a huge like fan. Usually, when I have like tidbit questions like that, I call him because
Yeah.
seriously, no, I'm not gonna answer you. Hold on.
So I grab this color. I'm gonna put it here as part of a door frame as well. Okay, so except for inside the door, recoloring the mountains and doing smoke or whatever coming out of the pipe here and the sky background. I think this panel is done. Well, and of course shading and lighting.
Rick, you ever bought a piece of equipment
What do
and
you mean?
then you're like a piece of equipment like a computer or a game, anything like that, and then just like right around the corner they drop like the brand new one, and you're like, man, I could have just waited.
I'm not sure whether I've done that.
I got my Hui on not too long ago. Got it semi-used at a cheap price. I was all happy, and then Huion drops their 4K monitor, and then puts a deal on their 2K monitor for like half the price, and I'm like, man, that was only $200 more than what I paid for mine. I could have gotten the 2K.
Yeah, well, maybe I might have, but then again, as you were saying, it might have been, like $200 more. To me, probably usually, I probably didn't think anything of it because it's like I couldn't afford it the $200 more anyways.
And well, that's true. That's a good way to see it. Good way to see
It's like, oh crap, the new one's out. Yeah, maybe I could have saved an extra few months and got the new one, but it's like,
it.
yeah.
Well, the only thing I don't like about why do I have this is my son's glove. Where's my glove? He does that to me. He grabs my drawing glove and then he leaves his thrown where I could find it, and I can't find mine.
Guess he likes yours better.
I don't know why he has. Well, we have about the same size hands now. But he used to have smaller hands. I'm like, don't use my glove because I stretch them out because I have bigger hands than you.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about this one is that it's 1080p, so I constantly have to go back. Like when I want to use it, I got to go into my settings and change my display down to 1080p
Uh,
because my monitor is 1440p. That's why I'm
oh,
like, yeah, I've had, and it's a like 165 hertz monitor, and I've had people tell me, why do you change it? Like, cause have you ever tried to use a 1080p 60 hertz monitor at 165 hertz 1440p?
I
Tell them
can't.
everything's gonna be small
Uh,
and it's gonna be moving really really fast.
well, I
I
can't
learned my
say.
lesson.
I can't say that I've ever tried that. At least not to my knowledge.
Oh, don't tell me it's not working. Oh, I know what I did. I didn't. Talk on it. I gotta go into advanced settings. Bring frame rate down to 60. It went does it. Did you jump back? Yes, you did. Such a punk. What is my
Okay, you're obviously not talking to me.
No, no, no. I'm talking
The computer.
to the computer because I had to switch it because I only had it on one monitor, so I had to duplicate the monitors. And when
Uh,
I did that, it switched the settings back to 1440, 165 hertz. And I'm like,
uh,
that's not what I don't need to do.
uh,
Sorry, I'm one of those people that talks to my machines. You should see me when
uh, I
I
do
work on
too.
cars.
I do too at times. Talk to machines.
Yeah, I don't.
Usually it's when I'm mad at them though. Extremely mad at them. You.
Sometimes, sometimes you gotta talk to them like be really nice to them
Yeah.
because they get sensitive.
Yeah. Don't tell me machines don't have personalities.
Who said that?
Like lots of people say, machines don't have personalities, right?
We anthropomorphize. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Leave, leave me alone. It's my machine. It could do what I want.
It's my machine and I'll cry if I want to. You would too if it happened to you. Oh, that's bad. It's
I'll
just,
be right back. I'm gonna go get a throat lozenge.
uh, okay, so I think we got our hair done there. Hair today, gone tomorrow. next is her face. Although it's looking like might be able to put her scarf in there too. So I might go grab that blue and add a layer in. Okay, so we're gonna go here, add a layer, and come over here, grab her scarf color, and back here. Okay, there we go. Oh, now we're doing her hood, or the fur on her hood.
Eric,
Hey, you say something?
oh, I was just asking if you were still there.
Oh yeah, I'm still here. Of course. Well, I guess I could run off
What are
to.
you working on? Snowdrift?
Yeah, Snowdrift number 2, page 2, panel 2.
Mm.
Basically, where she's decided to go out for a walk for some reason.
Remember, I was telling you that I wanted to do unapologetic reviews of certain Comicsgate books or independent books.
I think so, yeah.
It was funny because Lone Star's on that list, and my friend and I are like jotting down notes and stuff to because he wants in on that review. He goes, I don't have you know no play in the game. I don't know Mike. I don't know anybody who's worked on it. I'll uh, I'll be as objective as I can be.
Yeah,
And he was making jokes when reading it, and it's funny because I had showed him a video of that channel. Comics Gate is Comics Great,
yeah,
and he sent me a link. I'm like, you watch this channel? He goes, no, you had been watching it on my YouTube when you came over to my house, and they recommended this new video. He goes, you need to watch it because everything that I was saying is literally on there. And I went and watched it, and it was the one where EVS and Cecil were messing with Mike about homosexual undertones in Lone Star. And I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, man, I completely forgot about that stream.
yeah,
I remember being in the chat on that one, or part of it. I think it was on Cecil's channel.
yeah.
Mike's, no, it was Mike's channel. But that was hilarious. I'm like, and my friend texted me later on. He's like, it was almost word for word the jokes I was making. Well, I told him, well, I guess we're not the only ones that notice certain things.
Yeah,
I told him, what Cecil said is what I said though. Like the book was so fast. He's like, it's 48 pages. I'm like, mm, I don't know. I've read 48-page books that take more than a day to read. I think I went through Lone Star in one one hospital visit or one clinic visit. I
Yeah,
read it before they did the exam, and then I read it before my Uber came to pick me up, and I was done by the end of it.
yeah. Not sure how long it took me to read it.
I mean, which is okay if it's a floppy, but I don't know. A lot of these reviews, I'm also using like what they've done right and what they've done wrong for
Yeah,
whenever I get to start doing my book. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, I've got to make sure I don't do this because I didn't like it when I read through this like this or when this happened. Why would I
yeah.
do it to another customer? You know what I mean?
Fly Fox says he's back. Cool. Well, can't say I knew for sure that you had left, but thanks for coming back. I knew you hadn't said anything in a while, obviously.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool. I didn't know that was it.
I am talking with Sketchbook, Marsupial, and hello. Yeah, I forget what. I wasn't super impressed with Lone Star, and I know that. I wasn't super impressed with Cyberfrog either.
Yeah, yeah. You sound exactly like my friend. In fact, like my friend was saying, you know what? I think in some ways, like he's like Lone Star is like in it's got so much wrong with it that you can go and fix it. He goes, but Cyberfrog, it just feels like you were cheated out of your money because like you paid because I paid $41 for it,
Yeah, I
and
know.
he's like, that's way too much for what you got. He's like, yeah, way too
I paid
much.
a little bit more than that. Well, obviously because Canadian stuff and all that, and um, but I did get. Well, I've got the main book, of course. Got two ash cans,
Hmm.
like two
Yeah,
different
but
ash cans. So
here's the thing, like
now,
when you
is
do,
it worth that much? Probably not.
I don't think so either. And that's another thing. Like I've seen a lot of these campaigns have like, how could I say this? Like they have artwork and stuff for sale, and we still have to take into account that is this going to go up in price or in value? Because usually back then, when you used to buy
Yeah,
artwork, you took things into account. How much do you like the artist? You know, how much of a fan of the artist are you? And it's also an investment. Like Gary from Nerdrotic once said that he found a guy selling Amazing Fantasy number 26 for like eight, almost 9 grand, and he bought it on the spot. And people are like, "Well, that's a lot of money to spend on a comic book." He's like, "It's the first appearance of Spider-Man."
oh,
It's
you mean number 15?
oh,
Amazing.
okay. I thought it was 26. My bad. But he was like, "It's an investment," and he goes, "Not only do I like the art and the story, but it's also an investment." And
Yeah,
stupid phone goes off at most opportune times.
yeah. Uh, I'd have to reread thing. But like I said, and it was late, Cyberfrog. But the thing that we do have to remember is, especially in crowdfunding, is it's only half you're buying a book because technically, you're investing it in at a certain tier, and that's what you're doing. You're investing, and you just happen to be getting, in this case, a comic book back.
True, but is it really an investment if they run crowdfund after crowdfund? At what
That
point
is
does it become retail?
Yeah, well, that is true in that. Well, seeing as how, well, Ethan's, I don't know how many crowdfunding he's done, but he's done what? Crowdfunding for Cyberfrog 1 and 2. I don't think Cyberfrog 2 has actually been delivered yet. I could be wrong. And,
Yeah, that's why I don't like using the word investment because at what point does the investment pays off? Pay off?
yeah,
It pays off to them, but not to us.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And if you're an investment, like say the Atari that came out of Indiegogo, and other games that came out of Indiegogo. Those are investments because eventually they get to the market. The whole purpose of crowdfunding was to get them noticed so that publishers can be like, hey, you know what, we're going to invest in that because it made so much money in crowdfunding. We can find a bigger market for it. Which
Yeah,
I understand that there's a lot of comic book pros doing this, but that's what I'm saying. Like my friend once said, he goes, anybody that could get their book to $10 or under $10 at crowdfunding is going to start stealing people from the market because
yeah,
of the fact that it's a lot cheaper, and if the quality is there, he goes, yeah, he's they're going to kill them because nobody wants to spend $25 for a floppy, even if it's 50 to 80 pages. If it's still a part of a story, I think of it like the MCU movies. Iron Man 1 was an entire movie. Yes, it plays into a bigger, part of the MCU, but excuse me, but it is a contained story within itself. And that's what they're not doing. That's what they should be doing, in my opinion.
yeah. Let's see. Flyfox says a couple things here. Lone Star was like an average superhero comic, just okay. But I don't know how to describe Cyber Frog experience. I was basically, is that it? Where's the rest of the issue? Yeah, I think I felt that too. Flyfox, if I remember correctly. And he says, I'm completely serious when I say that I was more than satisfied with Canadian Shield #1. Well, that I like to hear for sure. Marsupio says, I would say as long as it's on Indiegogo, it's never retail. You want to buy retail, buy from eBay or Amazon, depending on the creator.
That's a good thing that Marsupial brought up. I actually bought my Cyberfrog from eBay, from
Yeah,
EVS's eBay store.
but it's never technically retail. But I think what you more meant is, yeah, maybe it's not technically retail, but they're treating it sort of like a retail store.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's my point exactly. Because I know people could bring up, well, I saw you invest in Canadian Shield. I saw you invest in Hito. I saw you invest in John Dillard's book, the Buckler. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not just investing in their book. I'm also investing in their art and in the person itself. I don't need to invest in EVS. The man's had a good career in DC. I need to invest in Cyberfrog because I'd like to see
Yeah.
Cyberfrog back out in LCSs.
Well,
That was the original point, or at least create a new market, which is
well,
what they should have done, in my opinion, from the beginning. But now, too much infighting, they're not going to be able to accomplish it now.
Marsupial, I think I know why you never got your Cyber Frog. It's because of the same reason you almost never got your Canadian Shield. I messaged Ethan, but he never got back to me. I guess it's just lost. Oh well. Yeah, that's the problem trying to get to somebody like that is, you know, is he even reading these emails about something like that, or does he have somebody going over them?
Yeah, he should have somebody watching over that because that is his retail part. And like Gary Shipman's fairly big. I mean, not as big as EVS, but I had a problem with the Titan mouse of might that I ordered. I
Yeah.
accidentally I accidentally ordered just the perks package where all it is like the posters and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I went and apologized to him on Twitter. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I guess I was like, I had
Well,
clicked it on from Jason's stream from Illustration by Design.
yeah,
I had just like quickly supported, and I told him, do you have digital copies? I'd like to buy at least the first issue because I want to check it out.
yeah.
So he
Uh,
sent me a link for that.
yeah,
I got that one, Marsupio.
yeah,
I
I
got
get,
the full. I bought the full one of T-Bird and Throttle, which if it pays off that it's a good story, was worth it because I only paid like, I want to say 60, but it could have been like $70. But still, I mean, it's like 6 or 7 issues in there,
yeah, let's see.
four volumes.
Flyfox says, my favorite crowdfunding stuff was T-Bird and Throttle and Titan Mouse and Might. Yeah, well, I haven't got Titan Mouse and Might. I think I might get the digital soon. But yeah, I got
Yeah,
Keyboard and Throttle. I really like that.
I-
Marsupial says he never got his Keyboard and Throttle. Never got like 75% of the comics. He's back. Well, that's sorry to hear. But again, that might be for the reason he almost never got the Canadian Shield. Aggressively relaxing. And hello, welcome to the channel. There was never anything to create. You make comics and then sell them. These dudes are having trouble because shipping scam artists are lazy.
T-Bird and Throttle was such a good story. I'm glad it was you.
Yeah, and he's now
That,
with
that's a
a
good book.
what? Alterna or some other company
Alterna
going.
with Peter Samedi.
Yeah, I think Keyboard and
Yeah,
Throttle is done through them now. Going.
and see, that's a good thing. That's my money well spent if he starts bringing T-Bird and Throttle to Alterna, and it helps Alterna. In fact, I forgot who it was, if it was Chester or somebody who had said, I don't know why more pros didn't go with Peter Samedi. That would have helped Peter, because that also would have helped them, because Peter would have done their marketing for them instead, while they could just work on the book.
Yeah.
But to answer Flyfox, where he said that or not to answer, but to quote, comment on it, he says Lone Star was like an average superhero comic. That's the problem. Lone Star right now should have been like Captain America in the 40s, in during World War II. You know, it should have been like a Captain America book during the 60s in Vietnam. You know, not because we're at war, but because right now the uh, the political divide that we have, Lone Star would
Yeah.
have been a perfect book for that, and still been able to create a hero out of him the way they did with Captain America. The problem with Lone Star was, for lack of a better way to say it, it needed a better team behind it. I I understand that Mike, he's a cool dude and everything, but after reading the first one, I'm like, I think he should have hired a writer, maybe even an artist to it, because it just didn't have the flash and the flair that it needed. And it has the good concept. Like, I could do a rewrite of that book and probably come out with something like really good, because he
Yeah.
has two pieces there that are working very well. He has the concept of Lone Star, the hero himself, and then the unknown soldier program, which he's not tapping into in the first one. I'm not commenting about the second or the third one, because basically the way I read the first one, I'm like, I wouldn't have bought the second or third one after all. So
I
I'm
had
going.
bought the second one, but I had to get my money back because I was going through some
Yeah,
finance
you
problems.
had. I think you had told me about that. But
Yeah.
as for Cyberfrog, the way I could describe Cyberfrog is that it's beautiful art, and it's beautiful how he brings new readers into it by explaining the old. But the problem is, once he starts on the story, you're like, yes, okay, we're gonna get into the story, and then he just abruptly ends during the middle of a battle, and then jumps the timeline. I mean, this is like one of those movies where you jump the timeline and you're like, what happened? What happened? It's kind of like, if I had to put it in anime terms, it's kind of like Shippuden ending and Boruto beginning, and you're like, wait, what happened to everybody?
Yeah. Let's
And
see.
he's like, you gotta wait till the next book. I'm like, okay, so I gotta shell out another $50 pretty much to get this story. I'm sorry, that's not okay with me.
Yeah, and like you talk about getting the prices down. This next time around, yeah, last time it was a bit high.
Mhm.
But this time I'm gonna go do pretty much. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna go $5 lower per book. You know.
Well, that's very generous of you, but your book was already well priced. I think I paid like $10 for the physical copy.
Well,
But then
yeah, it
again, I'm in the US.
Well, you paid it before it was $20 for a non-signed copy, 25 for a signed. So it depends on how I was charging about $10 shipping. It was included in the price.
Mm. But I
You
think
know,
you were Canadian prices. That's also why I didn't pay as much.
no, I ran that campaign in American funds.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Marsupial says Peter turns down a lot. They might have applied to a Turner and got turned down. Possibly. Flyfox says yes, exactly. Crowdfunding is a way to put an artist to make a book, and so they can go find and distribute the art. The serialized stories brings years being years apart is a big issue for me. It works month to month, but two years later, I really don't care much anymore. Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah,
and that's what I hate. Like
that's really
okay,
good. Good point.
that's what I hate about even just with you know being so long and getting the Canadian Shield too. It's out of people's minds. In some ways I want to do another project right now in between. Like I did my uh, coloring book, and that was a lot of ways to find out what would happen with Thing.
Fly Fox. That's because Gary barely talks. Half of the time, they gotta remind him to unmute himself on different streams. But yes, he is a very nice guy. Probably, I don't know if I would say the nicest, because Tyler's pretty nice too.
Hey, what
From
about me,
Drawn
guys?
Talk.
What about me?
Oh,
Am I not
it goes
nice?
without it goes without saying.
I'm just
You're
teasing a little,
you're
Quinn.
kind. You're kind up until the puns. Then you're not kind anymore. Art is subjective, and if you didn't like Lone Star, doesn't mean someone else wasn't blown away. It's the same with Marvel books. These twerps throw under the bus to make a buck.
True, true, very true. Hey, anybody that wants to,
That's a good point. Aggressive relaxing. But I wasn't not blown away by Lone Star. The problems with Lone Star is writing and context.
yeah,
Those are the
I,
exact same issues that EVS and CISO were making fun of on that stream because
I,
Mike didn't he didn't even set up the boxes in context in some of the points. That's why he kept saying, "I don't think you're getting the proper context out of that." And they were trying to insinuate to him, "No, you didn't put it to where we could understand the context." That's the issue. And yeah, Lone Star's a good book in the making. And yeah, there are people that liked it out there. I went and looked at the reviews um, prior to buying it, and I still bought it. And then I went and looked at the reviews after to see if anybody was finding what I was finding. And again, nothing personal to Mike. It's just a critique of his book.
yeah,
But
and of course that's just your opinion. Everybody has their own opinion too, right?
no, exactly, because I myself like things that are not good. We used to call them in the '90s guilty pleasures. But just because something is not good doesn't mean you get to say that it's good just because you like it, and vice versa too. If something is good, you don't get to say it's bad because you don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put my comic up on Amazon. I'm not going to crowdfund it until I have at least 100 pages of story. Now,
Um.
Fox, will that be a complete 100 pages of story, like a complete story where there's an over arc, a beginning, a middle, and an end? Because that's my biggest issue with these books. Like, if you're gonna ask me to shell out more than like $25 plus shipping, usually winds up around $40 because with the taxes and all that. That's what I'm asking is give me a complete story until the next one comes out. You got another year or two before the next one will pop.
Yeah. He
Thank you.
said, yeah. He says, yeah, complete arc. And as I was saying, sort of with mine, I'm wanting to uh, do. I'm wanting to, start getting mine out a lot sooner. That hopefully, hopefully, Canadian Shield #3, Snowdrift #2, and Flame #1 will come out a lot sooner than
There's a creator out there, Rick. I forget his name. He's doing a book called Veil Walker. I don't know if you've seen him on the streams.
I might have. Look,
he
Book
he's
sounds.
he's trying to do it where his book comes out bi-monthly. And
Yeah,
I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea at all. In fact,
yeah,
I could wait bi-monthly for a floppy. I can't wait bi-monthly for, I mean, I can't, I can't wait an entire year for something that's like 50 to 100 pages and an incomplete story. Even if the art is beautiful. Again, I agree with aggressively relaxing. Art is very subjective, but there is a way in which we measure whether something is good or bad. Um, if you look in the acting world, you had once upon a time before they were all corrupt, you had the Oscars and things like that. You had ways to measure whether something was good besides its success monetarily. Because if you look at the writing at something like even in the show or the comic, The Walking Dead, it's actually not very comprehensive. It's not very not comprehensive. Sorry, what's that word? It's not very intricate. It's not great writing. It's just it'll do the writing, but
yeah,
it's very successful. Spawn is the same way in the '90s. Spawn was hugely successful, and
yeah.
it was McFarlane's one of his first stabs at writing. It's not very written very well, and I liked it back when I was younger. I don't read that kind of stuff no more because I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
um,
Now the
but
question
it
is, what,
was
why
writing
was
to me.
it? Did it get so popular? And obviously, something in it had to resonate with whomever. You know.
Well, McFarlane is can be accused of many things. A bad marketer is not one. If you look at Spawn, Spawn has a buff design. He's kind of like if you meshed Venom and Spider-Man together. And remember, McFarlane was doing Spider-Man and one of the most popular
Yeah.
runs of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it's what attracted me to the character, the way the design that he had for him, and then the Doctor Strange type cloak that he pretty much designed to make look like horns. If you look at the shadow of it, whenever Spawn is like on top of a perch or something, it looks like he has horns. You can't see the back of the cloak. It just looks like he just has horns. And then you see him
Uh,
turn and you see the collar to the cloak, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's very cool. When you do stuff like
uh,
that, it catches your eye. That's what he was
yeah.
good at.
Yeah. Well, I never read much Spawn. I think I've got like a Batman Spawn crossover or something like that. That's about it. You know. Um, and I've watched a couple of the movies. You know.
You mean the movie? I don't think
Well,
there's.
there's been a couple cartoon movies or
Yeah,
whatever,
those were good. The ones where it was voiced by Keith David.
and you know, like I seen the live action movie, I rented it and all that.
The live action was horrible. I was a huge Spawn fan when that came out, and even I didn't like it that much.
Well, I didn't know much about the character at the time, you know, like, yeah, oh man, I'm like, okay, it's a superhero movie, I'm gonna go see it.
Even back then, I was like what we see on YouTube today. I'm like John Leguizamo as the clown. Come on, man. And then Martin Sheen as Jason Wynn. I'm like, you do know Martin Sheen's shorter than me. I'm like, that man does not look imposing at all.
Yeah. Flyfox says, I don't ever want to put out something that feels incomplete. Each issue will have a goal accomplished by the end, recovering treasure, saving someone, etc. Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm hoping too with my, I guess with mine. You know, like hopefully people will be satisfied with Canadian Shield number two, Snowdrift number one. You know, they are their self-contained stories. You know, the Canadian Shield sort of has an arc. You know, through the first, we'll say, 18 issues of getting back to Hamilton in
Mm,
present day. You know, and being somewhat acclimated back into society. You know,
yeah, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But yeah, I understand where you say that you want to be able to pump them out a little bit quicker. But
Uh,
I like what Fly Fox said right there. As each chapter unfolds, you learn more about the universe and the bigger picture story. That's the goal of at least.
yeah. Oh heck, I'm slowly working on an animation where you're gonna see man like Cougar walk towards you. It's gonna morph into him in a Canadian Shield suit. He's gonna fly up right by the plane that Snowdrift and Nancy's in.
You're gonna
And
do a kayak.
yeah, I'm gonna try anyways.
I did like that little animation that he had for that.
It's gonna
That was pretty good.
fly up by super quickly. It's gonna make the plane go into a barrel roll. Of course, this doesn't happen in the comics, but I'm just trying to be a little thing. And somehow the door opens because of the barrel roll, and Christy falls out, and she ends up turning into Snowdrift, and it creates an ice bridge. And then I'm not sure exact, starts creating an ice bridge, and then you see the Canadian Shield land down. I'm not sure exactly how yet, and then Snowdrift comes in right beside him and says, "The Cross Comics universe has just gotten bigger," or something to that effect.
Yeah, I remember on one of the reviews of Lone Star, one of the guys said that he liked it and that it wasn't half bad. There were some things that he wished had gone a different way, but his biggest regret was the fact that he had to pay like $20 or $25 for it. And he's like, yeah, if it's gonna be like $25 for a 48 page, you know, book every time, he's like, I'm out. I'll wait till the trade comes out.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like, cause that's too
uh,
rich for blood.
yeah. Unfortunately, as I was saying earlier, part of that is unfortunately we are investing, and as you pointed out, and I pointed out, or would have pointed out, you know, yeah, this should be for a short time. Like, okay, how long is Mike going to use Indiegogo to do this and
Sorry.
make
Keep going, Rick.
oh,
No, I laughed at what aggressively relaxing said.
yeah, I figured that. Um, like me, once I get a good, we'll say, readership, I'm going to try and switch it over to everything selling from my site. You know,
Hmm.
People know, yeah, sure, I'm going to stay on hopefully YouTube or wherever and get my name out there, and more people will recognize me, and
Here's the problem that I'm seeing that they're not seeing. Because I usually look at things through a business point,
yeah,
point of view. And what I've noticed, and I talked to some of my friends, in real life about this, because they buy books and they read books and stuff like that, but they don't buy crowdfunded books, and it's because they don't really care to look online, go through all the sales pitches and everything. But a lot of them, they're like, "What about manga?" They do know that manga's killing everybody right now. They're like, "Yeah, their books are better than the mainstream. They've already pretty much outdone the mainstream. What are they gonna do about manga? Because right now, if you look, you can get like a $7 to $10 book, a manga book. It's like a few hundred pages, and a lot of the
yeah,
times in a volume, you get more than one complete story out of it.
yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing too is manga is black and white, so it's a little cheaper to print, and they're doing it in smaller
Well, no,
books.
that, that's
But
very true, but
uh,
competition's still there.
yeah, yeah, it is. I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just saying, why I believe it's the books are as say well cheap as they are, which there's nothing bad with that.
Yeah, but you have avid readers of comic books completely turning over to manga.
Yeah.
Um,
Hold
just
on a
some
second.
guy, one of the biggest YouTubers.
And listen,
Why? You can't listen to that?
I'm gonna go in my room and lay down.
I just feel my mom's at the door just listening. It's like
Oh, she can't hear it on the TV or what?
I don't know. It's just like okay, this feels creepy. Somebody. watching me over my shoulder while doing
Yeah, but like I was saying, if
so.
you look at just some guy's videos or his posts on Twitters, you see what he's buying. It's almost all manga,
Yeah,
and the guy knows intricate stories of old comics, which means at one point he bought comics, and he even has said that he bought comics. You still have people like Az from Heel versus Babyface and Gary from Nerdrotic buying older issues, but I don't see them buying crowdfunded books. And that's an untapped market. I even asked as in a super chat one time, and he said I would back crowdfunded books if they were a complete book, and it's got to be a pretty beefy book. He's like, because you're asking for a lot of money, but I'm not getting a lot in return. And
yeah,
I'm doing this, by going around and asking questions. If I have to do a super chat, I'll do a super chat. Of course,
yeah,
I ain't gonna drop no $50 just to ask one question, but
yeah. The other thing I think that kills crowdfunding too, or any book like that, is, and I can see it killing um, even what you call it. Go into, like, if I go just directly to my website, you know, it's the shipping. You know, like, okay, say you can get the book down to $5. You know,
mhm,
that's great. But are you going to be able to get the shipping down? You know,
yeah.
you can't get, there's only so far you can get the shipping down. You know, like, if you order, 10, if you order like 500 books compared to 10,000 books, you can get the price of the comic book down.
Hmm.
With that. But whether you order, you're shipping 500 books or 10,000 books, the cost is the same. Hey, Mallet.
$15 for a chicken plate, and then I gave a link to the book away for free. I sold a bunch of copies. Morning, Mallet.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely a lot of issues, because there's only so many. Two things are happening. If you look at the market, like I said, I talk around to people who still buy books, comics, manga, and stuff like that, and it seems to me that they're not creating new readers in their in the bigger crowdfunding people. They're not really creating new readers. They're basically moving the money around. Is that and that's the
yeah,
thing. Like that's why you get the same amounts, in different ones.
yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not successful, and I don't say that I don't wish them the best. I do. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, if you're not creating new readers, if you're not getting new customers, that stagnates your business. And when your business starts to stagnate, that's why you hire marketers. You hire what they call bean counters. Bean counters are the ones that are telling you, hey, like you look on social media, you got so many new followers. Some of them are going to be bot accounts, they're going to drop off. Then you stay with the solid ones, but you got to keep building. Because if you don't
yeah,
keep building, you're just moving that money around, and eventually that money starts to dry up.
yeah. Oh, on a completely different topic, there's this Saturday, for I was planning on starting the thing, the live draw along over on uh, Rumble, as you know, or may
Okay.
not know. Um, but and I know I said 3 o'clock starting. Would you be adverse to it starting maybe a bit later that day, because I'm going to be able to do something I haven't not able to do much lately, and that's get out and with
Oh
some
yeah,
a crowd
that's
of
fine.
people.
That's fine. That's fine. That's even better actually if it's later. It
Yeah,
doesn't look like I'm going back to work soon. In fact, before I got on here, I was on the phone trying to get a disability claim through my insurance because um, the doctor won't release me until he knows for sure that I'm not gonna faint at the wheel.
yeah,
So he's like, "No driving for you because if you pass out, you're held liable for any damages and
yeah,
or loss of life." So
yeah, and you don't want that.
no, I don't. So my boss is kind of like tiffed, but he's like, "What am I gonna do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Pretty much sit down and wait like I am.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do
Unfortunately,
either."
unfortunately for you, he's probably gonna have to hire somebody in the midterm.
I told him if that's what he's gonna do, then he needs to let me know so I could bring my tools home because I don't want to leave my tools there while
Yeah.
somebody else is in my bay.
Yeah. Let's see. Fly Fox says, the common America guys doing a book every quarter has helped them grow momentum, while slower guys have lost their momentum. The guys who succeed long term with crowdfunding, like Brian Perlow, full stories and timely delivery. Yeah, like I have, and I've said it before. I have like 8 issues of Canadian Shield already written. I have 8 issues of Snowdrift, 12 of my Flame character, 5 of things there, and some of the other 3 characters too, or 4 characters. My biggest problem is actually I got to go over some of the scripts because they're missing some pages because um, I misplaced the hard copy and somehow the it didn't get transferred digitally into the digital version of the story. So now it's trying to make up pages in between. What did I write back then?
It's always hard to go back to what you wrote or what you drew back in the day, and then you're trying to think of your mindset. You're like, "What was I doing?" But there is another business thing that they're not looking out for, and I like that Fly Fox brought up the Common America guys.
Yeah,
The fact that there's so many new people coming into it. You have Mavericks now from I forgot the name of the studio. You have Fado J. You're gonna have Macho Dan and them do another book here fairly soon. And the thing they're not realizing is they're already at the peak and they're getting saturated. So like that's why I don't really call them Comicsgate books anymore. I just call them independents because Comicsgate is just a brand now of independent books. And that's the thing that people don't realize. I mean, it's still a movement. I'm still with that, and I still completely agree in what the movement originally started as.
yeah, same
But
here.
what I'm talking about is the fact that the Comicsgate brand is the top in the independent crowdfunding books right now. You can't deny that. I mean, Wrecked Planet made 1.2 million in crowdfunding, which means that's what put them at the top. That's the top already. But now you're getting so saturated that eventually it's going to start to stagnate, especially if the oversaturation causes other people to say, "I'm going to lower the price of my book so I could sell more books."
Yeah,
I'm still going to keep it with a profit margin, just not as big as it used to be. And then they're going to start taking customers there because people are going to be like, if I could get a quality story, quality art from the common guys for a lot cheaper than I get from you know
the,
EVS's cat, why am I
well,
going to spend an extra $20-$30 where I
uh,
don't have to?
the thing is, if you compare to EVS, it's different. But I think after EVS, like you have John Malin and all that, and all these other bigger name, semi bigger name people.
I like
Uh,
John as a
uh,
person, but I cannot bring myself to buy one of his books. I am not a fan of his art that much.
yeah, but my point is more with EVS has got they've all got somewhat personality. Obviously EVS sells because of Comicsgate, but I think he sells because of who he is. He's been a big name in DC Comics.
Yes.
They're selling a little bit because of their
Also,
name too.
he's a great he's a great marketer. He's really good at selling himself,
Yeah,
which is why people like Aaron Lepresti go over to his channel and start hanging around with him, and they go over 100K. And hey, bless them. I hope
yeah,
that they manage their money well and they invest it, and that they put food on the table. I'm glad to see them making the money that that they're making.
yeah. You know,
I'm just the guy that's always looking at ahead, like, hey, what's this? Plus, we also got to see the quality because that was one of the things that Comicsgate first started. It was all about roasting the books because they weren't quality, and people are like, "Well, we're putting out quality books." Well, your art is better.
Your
and I
writing
thought
might not be
your art is
as
better.
good. Uh, Flyfox says it helps to be an artist. I imagine being the writer and having to pay someone to draw them is a lot harder. It's probably definitely more expensive, but then an artist might need to pay a writer. Yeah, maybe they can create their character in the basics.
It does go both ways, and the book I was talking about earlier is proof of that. Fly Fox Pro, because the person who made Lone Star is a very, you know, I have called him a basic artist, but it's not because he's a bad artist. It's because he draws everything anatomically correct. So his art, like if I was an editor or an editing publisher, I would probably put his art on more suspenseful stories because it fits with the motif. When you draw in anatomically correct humans, you want like the detective stories, the suspense stories, the murder dramas. You want those because it draws the audience in even better, at least in my opinion. But like a superhero book, you almost always want stylized because it's fantasy. It's not reality.
Yeah,
But it's the same. It goes both ways. You can have a great artist who's not a very good writer, who needs a good writer, or you have a
yeah,
great writer who needs a good artist. But the thing is, with a great writer, like if you're a good writer or a great writer, you can find a more than half decent artist that's willing to work with you because there are a lot more good and half good artists out there than there are even decent writers. Writing is a little, and I'm being facetious. It's a lot harder
yeah.
than it is to
But the thing is,
draw.
like how much to get an artist to draw, like a 22-page book or a 20-page book or 40-page book costs you thousands of dollars, usually. The
Yeah,
question is, for how much would a writer charge to, write up a 48-page comic book?
about 5 grand.
Oh
About
wow.
5 grand if they are a decent writer. But again, when your name is known, that's another problem I had a lot with when I first started like watching certain comic skaters that are no longer comic skaters. Like I would watch Drawn and Quartered, and then they would like sell their 2 hour piece that's just ink and just pencils and inks for like $300 or $400. And I'm like, okay, I would understand that if you were EVS, because EVS has the name recognition. Or if you're a McFarlane, a Jim Lee, as much as some of those artists don't like Jim Lee is popular, whether you like him or not. And
Yeah,
art is subjective.
yeah,
And it's an investment. I'm not gonna buy an unknown guy's art at a high value.
yeah. That I agree with that. But the thing is that, as you said, you're not going to do it. Obviously, a lot of these people were very willing to do it.
No, no, yes, and again, I applaud them. But that
Yeah.
is my personal opinion. When you overvalue your work, it also it's there are detriments to it if you overvalue yourself.
Well, one small question:
It has been
who's
around.
overvaluing it at that point? It's you know,
Ooh, ooh, that was nice. That's brutal honesty. I think aggressively relaxing has become one of my new favorite people in the chat because that's something that I've said in real life before. Comics Gate has been around for years now, and none of these dudes have made anything that stands out, and that's true. That
yeah,
includes the Frogman. As much as I love to hear him like do his jokes and stuff when I watch him on stream. Let's be honest. I lived through the '90s. Cyberfrog was not a high selling book.
no.
In fact, I never read a Cyberfrog book until recently
You what?
because
I
I
never
knew what
even.
Cyberfrog was because of Wizard magazine. That's the only reason I knew why Cyberfrog existed, or even Harris Comics itself existed. In fact, if you weren't Image or Chaos in the mid '90s and up, you weren't selling because as much as people are like Marvel this and DC that, the pretty much the LCSs were ruled by Chaos Comics and Image Comics in the '90s,
Like before,
in the late '90s. Sorry.
I didn't even, till I'll say Comicsgate, although it was just before I even heard of Comicsgate. I didn't know who EVS was. I think I probably was watching Zach. I don't know who I was watching. I'm gonna guess it was Zach. And um, they said about this conservative artist or whatever, something to that effect, and saying about EVS. I found his channel, and this was before he really got into Comicsgate, and so I didn't know who he was. Obviously, I didn't know who Cyber. Never heard of Cyber Frog either. It just as you said before he came out with, oh yeah, I'm quitting DC and I'm going to do my own comic, uh, based on a property that I created,
When
40
I owned my
years ago or 20 years
yeah,
ago.
when I owned my comic book stand, I didn't know who EBS was or Jeff Johns because they were up and coming. I owned my comic book stand in the early 2000s, but I mostly like I sold comics like they barely sold. I almost exclusively sold like trading cards and Magic the Gathering and what's it
Yeah,
called, Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, and Pokemon cards. Which, by the way, I'm still kicking myself in the behind because it's like I had Gen One Pokemon cards that were holograms and stuff like that that I could have like really used to sell right now.
yeah,
But the thing is that he did make a name for himself, and I do remember knowing who EVS was by his channel because I followed his channel. That's when I was starting to get back into drawing a little bit before I found out about diversity in comics. I started to get back into art. I found out who Andy Smith was. Never read any of his books. I bought his book in the early 2000s, but I bought it again and started using it again to like practice my art.
yeah,
And then I would look at channels. I found Robert Marzullo, which is Ram Studio Comics, How to Draw
yeah,
Comics,
yeah,
Comics Artist Pro Secrets. I found all these different channels, and I used to love Ethan's because it was very comic book oriented. Like he would show you how to set up panels and stuff like that,
yeah.
how to tell a story sequentially through your art, right? And then all of a sudden, The
He's
Force Awakens comes out,
yeah. It's
right?
become a drama channel now.
Well, it was after The Force Awakens comes out, which is in like 2015. I find diversity in comics the next year, and then like I watch it off and on, and then like a year later, that's when or that year later that year, that's when the milkshake incident happened, and I hadn't heard of the other comic skaters until then. And then when that started happening, because I started getting back on Twitter, and I
Uh,
started looking at certain things, I'm like, oh my gosh. And yes, if anybody has the claim to the beginning of Comic Skate, I know a lot of these other comic skaters would disagree with me. It was actually your boy because he was the first one to get hit, and Comic Skate was not a name we got ourselves. It was christened to us by the pros because they were comparing us to Gamergate. I still remember the Twitter thread for that when they went after Zach or Richard for it, and I
yeah,
was just laughing. And then that's when the Last Jedi dropped. The following year, I think it dropped, and that's when EVS's channel changed from Comics Artist Pro Secrets to the Star Wars stuff. Um, and I remember hanging out. That's when he started the Fabio thing and listening to Fabio music in the background when we would all joke with him. And that's when all that got started. But he didn't actually jump. Um, it's funny because I remember in I'm going through
yeah,
that interview that he had or the debate he had with that guy Tyler or Taylor. Um, this was recent, about a week ago. It's like a 7 hour debate, and I've only gone through half of it. But he claims that DC and Marvel, which he doesn't just claim, he's very right about this, that they use predatory printing or publishing methods, to keep the IPs, the licenses to the IPs. And he said that he was kind of disgusted by that. But I'm like, come on, bro, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? You did the same thing. You jumped on Cyberfrog right after you saw how much money that Gubbreakers made. I mean, let's just be honest here. I'm not hating on you. As a businessman, I'm kind of impressed, but still, let's let's speak truth here. I mean, he hadn't said he was going to drop Cyberfrog. He was still doing the Star Wars things. I still was subbed to his channel. He had never said anything about dropping Cyberfrog. It wasn't until after Jawbreakers, because everybody was backing Jawbreakers, and Jawbreakers ends at like 400K, 450K, and then bam, he announces Cyberfrog. I'm like, hey, that's kind of smart, but it's
Yeah.
still considered predatory publishing. You saw the
Okay.
opportunity and you
Okay.
pounced.
What do you mean by predatory?
That
Uh,
means that you saw people are, well, basically you're preying on the Comicsgate people. This is exactly what he was accused of by Rax the Hero, Unranked Chevron, Anglican Teen when they had their first breakup in Comicsgate when they
uh,
debated. This was what he was accused of, that he was bringing in pros and that he was going to make to use a biblical term, he was going to make a profit out of us. Remember how in the Bible it says that
yeah.
the false teachers make a profit out of the church.
Not exactly, but I'll take your word for it in this case.
Um, well, yeah, it's in the scripture.
Yeah.
I'll look it up right now.
Yeah.
In a minute, I'll give you the actual scripture.
Oh yeah.
But
I know there's lots of scriptures that I don't know about.
oh no no
Yeah,
no, that's fine. That's what we're here for, man.
and it's
But that's the same thing, and you gotta think that sometimes you kind of incriminate yourself, and that when he said that, I'm like, dude, I respect you and I respect your hustle, but you still gotta be honest. You did the same thing when Jawbreakers dropped, because everybody was jumping on Jawbreakers because it was the Comicsgate crowd responding to the pros, saying this is the kind of stuff we want, and we're willing to back these guys so that you could see that this is how much money we create in revenue for the industry.
yeah.
That's what Jawbreakers is about. Nobody, a, a lot of people didn't really care that whether it was going to be good or not. Now, I asked Dillard. Dillard said it wasn't half bad. I
Yeah.
actually still want to read it. I want to see how good Myers can write.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'd like to read it eventually too. I never got to read it. I never got in on that. When I came in, it was I'll say the three top guys at the time for comics, for creators, and of course,
It's the verse is Second Peter, chapter 2, verse 3.
uh
It
second.
says, "And through covetousness shall they feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not."
Okay.
I read the King James, that's why. Let me see if I could get the
NIV.
Holman. I usually use the Holman. They will exploit you in their greed and with this deceptive words. Their condemnation pronounced long ago is not idle, and their destruction does not sleep.
uh-huh.
But yeah, that if you tell that to to certain pastors, that will cause them to gnash their teeth, man. Because uh, every time I read that verse, I think about all those pastors that love to write books, charge you $30, $40 per book, and it's based in the Word of God. It's like, if it was, then why don't you give it for free?
Yeah.
Freely you were given, freely you should give, freely you have received. So,
Well.
but that's
Well.
a biblical discussion, right?
Yeah. Well, the only reason I would say is it does cost something to write to print up the book, and is that a workman worthy of his hire?
No, 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 that's true. I understand that,
Yeah. Well,
but what
I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying a
about is like
possible answer for here.
they sell it like you need to have it to
Yeah.
understand Scripture.
Oh yeah. Well, I can. Well, I do a verse of the day, and I think I do pretty good in understanding scripture and it. You know.
They also right. They also do things like God has given me this to give to you, but yet you're charging me for it. And when you're directly told, if you were freely given, you should freely give,
Yeah.
because
Like.
it's not a message from you. The prophets never charged the Hebrews for the messages God gave. The
Yeah.
prophets lived off of what charity they gave to them.
Yeah. I know a lot of people don't like this guy, but it sort of reminds me of Kent Hovind. He said, "God, God, if you want me to do this ministry of the whole thing, you know,
Is he the
uh,
one that does the whole anti-evolution thing?
well, there's a lot of them, but yeah,
Okay.
uh,
No, no, because there's one that does it really well, and I think it is Kent Hovind. I think I'm not sure.
yeah,
I don't follow. Every time I think of stuff like that, I think of like the pastor I used to belong, church I used to belong to,
mm,
and which I won't say because it's a popular church and it'll like say exactly where I'm living. Uh, and then the one from Houston, which is Joel Osteen.
yeah. But yeah, he Kent said basically, yeah, he charges minimal amounts for things, like his debates or his seminars that he does. But it's like he said at the beginning. He's also said that you can tape like if you get it, you can tape it and send it back to me, and distribute it or whatever. So
Mm.
he's not trying to make money. He has a YouTube channel, and yes, does he ask a little bit for money? Yes and no.
I wouldn't be able to comment. I'd have to look him up. The
Yeah,
other ones I know specifically because one, I was a member of one of them, there's
yeah,
church, and the other one, well, I've done enough studying on him.
yeah. But yeah, I get what you mean. There's lots of people.
Yeah, not all of them. I
Yeah,
remember Paul literally said that he worked with his hands so that he wasn't a burden on anybody.
yeah.
There's always that. But let's get back to what we were talking about because I wanna ask aggressively relaxing. What does he mean by taking food out of other creators' mouths? I mean, I do agree with it's all been marketing, but how are they taking food out of other creators' mouths so aggressively? Because I mean, if they're doing the marketing, couldn't the other creators learn how to do the marketing? I'm just asking
Well,
because,
maybe just because they're there and doing it, but they have a right to do it just as much as we do. Anybody does, really.
well, yeah, yeah, I understand that. That's why, like, when Dillard's campaign was open, I was trying to pimp it as much as I could.
Yeah. Well, technically, it's still open.
Well, no, I mean, like
yeah.
when he was running the campaign,
Yeah.
I still tell people about Dillard that don't know about him.
Yes. Same here.
At this point, he's gone beyond my reach, so his name has always been bigger than mine. So it's not
Yeah.
like people didn't know who he was.
You still every so often find a place that he's not known.
No, I do it like in real life, like friends that I find that like comics and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that only buy from local comic book stores. I'm like, have you taken a look at Indiegogo? I don't really like buying online. I was like, well, look, if you decide there's one book I'd like for you to look at, and you know,
Yeah. Well, hopefully in a few months you'll be doing that about a couple other
the
books.
the other one that I was seeing is on some of these campaigns, these big campaigns, they have the multiple books purchase for like an LCS, but they are charging you a arm and a leg. Like I think it's like 10 issues, and it's like $200. And I'm like, that means 8 of those issues are just gonna be sold to make my money back, or I have to sell them at double the price to
You
make it
said how many issues for how much?
10 issues for 200,
That's like $20 a pop, isn't it?
something like that. Yes, yes, it's $20 a pop.
Who's
They
gonna
they
pay?
literally they're literally
Yeah,
only taking $5 off the book.
you can't do that for a local comic book shop.
Yeah, because then the comic book store, to make a good profit off of it, would have to sell it close to half the price. I mean, double the price.
yeah,
They'd have to
well,
sell it for like $50.
yeah. Well, even if they chose an extra $5, but then again, there's shipping on that too. So they probably have to charge
Only
5 to 10 bucks just to make
It's not
any.
shipping per book though. It's shipping for one. one box of books.
Yeah, but still,
$2.
shipping for 10 books is gonna
But,
cost,
but what I'm talking about is like they drop $5 off of it. So you let's say you sell it at their price, which is $25. Four of those, eight of those books are gonna go back to make the money that you spent on the books, which means you only have two books left to make a profit. So you
yeah.
make $50 profit off of it.
Let's
See,
see. Oh, Risey's here. Hey, Risey. To
hey,
be
Razy.
fair, I've not seen a single. I think it's supposed to be campaign that's better than
Yeah,
the X Men. I'm tired of paying $60 per book. That all adds up to postage. Yeah, I get what you mean. Definitely Risey.
that's what we're talking about. One of my friends and I were talking about this like for the last week or so, and I was telling him you have to find a way to take shipping into account. So if you say a floppy's worth like $5 in the market right now, an LCS, roughly is what you're going to pay. So if you're going to pay for a $20 book, that just the book itself should be at least 88 pages, right? But if you add shipping to that, it comes out to about, let's say, about $30. So
Yeah.
now you have to add another 48 pages, at least to give them something worth. And if not, if you're going to keep it at 88 pages, I would say meet them halfway, go about 100 pages, and at least try and finish, or not at least, finish a whole story in it and just create an overarching theme that
Yeah.
then keep moving.
And Risey, I'm not sure whether you're on Discord or not, but if you want to come on, uh, there's the on-air thing in my Discord, and there's a link to my Discord. Should be in the description. That's how I'm bringing people on now if they want to come on. But yeah, like I said it earlier, shipping's always going to be the big thing, no matter whether you're, like I said, you can sell 10,000 books, you can sell 500 books, and you can sell 10,000 books, and there will be a price difference on those books.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know why shipping is so expensive. It's not that expensive to ship a single issue book.
Yeah,
It really isn't. You could ship one from California to New Jersey or to New York fairly cheap.
yeah.
It's
Uh,
not going to cost you an arm and a leg.
well, I know Grok Comics, the other Christian, I'd say fairly major Christian superhero company out there. In fact, he's even more major than me at the moment because he's getting his books out a lot faster than me.
Is
Eventually,
that the guy that you did the poster for?
yeah, I tried to do. He's shipping it very minimally. There's not a lot of protection, so he's taking a risk there. Yeah, but most of the time, I don't think it's a big risk, because I don't. Not much happens to most comics. I'm sure he might have to resend a couple, you know, but he's just doing it in a hard mailer, like a cardboard mailer, not with any bubble thing or whatever in.
Now, here's the thing: are they charging a lot for shipping because they're adding the price of the mailer? Because the price of the mailer should be added to the book, not to the shipping.
Well, either way, you got to pay for it. So it's which end they want to add it on, doesn't really matter, right?
Well, here's the thing:
Because that,
taxes on the bigger the shipping, the bigger the tax on the shipping. You know that, right? So the more like you pay, if it's $10 shipping, that's almost a whole dollar's worth of tax.
yeah, but it's
You know
the
what I mean?
same. It's the same percentage no matter what. Like if it's a
No,
five.
yeah, yeah, but I'm talking in actual like physical money. Like it's a lot more. $5 is like 50 cents.
Yeah, so
So
it'd be a 50-cent difference.
yeah,
Yeah,
but 50 cents adds up
yeah,
after every
true,
book
true.
that you're buying.
Um,
Is this
but
Risey?
hello,
Ahoy, hoy.
hey,
Can you hear me?
Risey.
Hey, man. How you going? I
Good.
was about to say something like a minute ago, but completely lost my train of thought trying to figure out how to get the hell onto here.
Well, we're
Yeah,
talking
So,
about shipping and all that, so
oh yeah, no. See, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say to like all American and Canadians and British people. I think the best thing you can do is like open up an international tier, which will be exclusive for digital tier for international people. And I know that Mr. Malin and a lot of people in the circuit don't like that, but I think it's better for a lot of like independent creators because, well, it really hurts you doing international shipping.
Mhm.
Like it costs a lot.
yeah, I agree. Well, I wouldn't say make the digital necessarily strictly international, but yeah, have a digital version there. It's
Yeah,
$5.
well, I think it's good to like have that tier just open for international people,
Yeah,
and maybe if you want to keep it like secret, keep it for the international people. I just think it's better off. You're better off doing that,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
the people
in my
that
opinion.
don't want to do a digital copy for international would be good. But I say you should have a digital because digital
Yeah,
is
dude,
actually the way of the
because like
future.
there's been a lot of people I want to back, but I'm not gonna back them for like I said in the chat. I'm not backing for like 60, 70 effing dollars.
I agree with
I'm
you.
sorry. I'm not gonna do it.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Y-
don't know you, and I've been burnt by other creators. I mean, literally, I backed Rick because, well, for one reason, I told Rick I was going to back him, and I'd known Rick for a good year and a half before he even started putting the book out. So I knew the book was going to come out.
yeah, and
Yeah,
you knew before I even started my campaign, the book was actually pretty much finished. It just needed to be
Yeah, it was
colored.
getting made. Like that's why I had like 100% devotion with you with that, and like I did with Manny with Skunk Girl, because I knew it was a thing that I actually would get in my hands. With a lot of these books, I don't want to name names and creators because I don't want to shame people, especially on your show.
I don't mind that.
But
I've done it.
yeah, but
Just
yeah,
as
the thing
you do
is
it
that
tactfully, I guess.
they've made me look like a punk for like backing them and standing up for them. And where are they now? Hmm? They're nowhere to be seen unless they get an invite to one of these hierarchy shows, and then they reappear.
and some of them
So
don't even want to show
screw
their face.
them.
Some of them don't even want to show their face, Risey. Some of them are have
Oh, it's
left.
not about the face. I just mean like,
No, no, no.
yeah. They
I know.
just
I'm talking about they just don't want to be seen because they know that they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
because they know that they owe us a book, and
Yeah,
so they disappear for a year or two, and then they expect us to like love them again
well,
when they re-show
maybe
up. It's like, oh, where
they
have you been? I'm like, no, where's my book, Ninja?
Heck, look at the thing that I did for my Red Rooster when I got my book from Red Rooster. I sort of roasted him in my book thing. Still haven't read that fully.
I still haven't read that book. I was not interested in Red Rooster. I dodged a bullet there. I
Dude,
already
I
had a
don't
job,
blame you.
and I'm like, hey,
And
this is such a
I'm so glad that was one of the books that when I was like in the early ages, I was so close to backing that book because I believed in that book.
Yeah.
I believed in that hero.
hmm
And then like I'm so glad I never backed it now because yeah, like to see what everyone went through to get their book. Yeah, it was a travesty, a travesty, a
Yeah,
travesty. Is
Yeah.
that
yeah,
the word?
travesty, travesty.
A
Yeah,
travesty.
I've commented on what I think possibly happened with that book, and that
Oh,
was
I know what happened with that book.
he took the
I
money
know
to
everything.
produce the books for Walmart because Walmart always
Yeah.
orders big orders, so he had to use the capital to produce their books
Yep.
first, and then
Yep.
produce the book for the backers. Which, by the way, when I said this on another show, I was like, I have no problem with that if he would have done a stream and say, hey, I need at least 50 to 70% agreement from all the investors because it's not my
Dude,
money. It's
even if he actually said that public, I'd probably still have a problem with it. The fact is that
exactly.
he used his backers' numbers to get himself a Walmart deal. That was like not only a dog act, but a rat act.
Yeah, I know that. That's
Well,
why when
So
I was
I
on,
mean,
well,
I think it was on Twitter or on YouTube, when Mike said I agree with what he did, I'm like, oh, shut up, dude!
yeah. I'm like,
well,
okay,
Don't say that.
I get him getting the deal. I have no problem with him getting the deal with Walmart and giving them books. Great, all the power to him. I'd like that to happen to myself too. You know, but when you gotta if you had a deal with all these other people first that they would get this book. You know,
yeah, just fulfill your shit, man. Don't be an asshole.
so you should be fulfilling them before Walmart because Walmart came second. The
Rick, we
deal.
can't criticize them because we've never worked in the industry. Sorry, I
Yeah,
can't.
but the fact is that
Now, now, now,
we've not. No,
now,
no, 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 no,
now,
no, no, no.
what?
Hold on, one second, Rick. One second. The fact is, whether we've worked in the industry or not, we understand how distribution services are done, and this is what he fuck it. I'm sorry for swearing on your stream. I remember I'm not allowed to swear on here. This is the thing with Mr. Brett Weiser is he promised a lot of people a product and then he only gave said product to Walmart and then left all the people that actually invested into said product with hundreds upon thousands of dollars. And
Yeah,
he sat there and he's like, yeah, nah, this
yeah,
is
which
what
he
I'm doing now.
yeah, he more than likely used that to buy into that elite
Yeah,
allegiance
no,
price.
that's exactly what he did.
Okay,
Yeah,
You
Joshua.
know, and
and
that's
I was
why
being,
I've got
I was
no respect for Mr. Brett Weiser.
yeah, Risey, I was actually just joking because that's what I've heard them defend Mitch and others with that we've never worked in the industry, so we should kind of sit down. And I'm like, man, please shut up. You're
Oh,
making me feel
damn, dude! You should have just laid up with that, man.
Now,
Now I feel
okay,
like now I feel like a wanker.
okay. First, Joshua says, if a rat act is worse than a dog act, what is worse than a rat act?
I don't know, but I just want to say, hey, oh, fucking Raven, Joshua, and I said F word again. I'm sorry, Rick.
No
I'm
problem.
so used to just the other F word being the worst thing I can say that, yeah, I probably shouldn't be
YouTube,
on.
right? On YouTube.
Just say fudge.
Yeah,
uh,
he's really passionate about it. What do you think about what we were talking about though, with all the other books, Risey? Like the stuff that they're putting out, right now, and the prices that
Oh,
people are paying.
CG?
Yeah,
or just independent
Honestly,
just independence in general.
that are
CG's included in
crowdfunding.
that. Yeah,
honestly, literally, other than Lady Death, Brian Polito, I particularly do not care about comics anymore. I mean, that's why I don't usually like. And Rick, I love you, but this is one of the reasons I don't show up here anymore, because I know you want to talk about comics and stuff.
Hey, you know
But
what? I
I'm
don't care what we
done.
talk about usually.
Yeah, it's just I'm done talking about comics. I mean, I'm so close to going like full close manga. I mean, I've already decided anime is the future. And obviously, manga is the next gen of future because that's where all anime comes from. I mean, I'm basically done with comics now. It's sad for me to say that, but at the same time, I feel a lot better when now that I don't care about what they're doing to the X-Men and to the Marvel universe.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, turn everyone gay. Let's do it all. Let's turn everyone into a rainbow fruit person.
Just give them what Alex Jones said about, right? That what they used on the
Yeah,
Flash.
I'm like, yeah, let's turn all the X-Men gay. Let's turn the X-Men gay. God damn it. I can imagine Alex Jones doing that.
But yeah,
But
see, Rick, this is exactly what I was talking about. You have people who used to read comic books, who used to be excited for comic
Yeah,
books, just falling out of comic books altogether. The
yeah.
crowdfunding is not having the effect that they think it's having.
Oh,
That
no, literally, yeah, I'm done because crowdfunding was also the people that are crowdfunding these comics. They're not as entertaining as they think they are. There are a lot of they're hateful people, and they have hateful friends,
Mhm.
and I know that for a fact because usually I'm one of them.
at least you can admit it, Rosie.
Yeah, it's the first step to
Yeah,
your
but
recovery.
yeah, like I don't ever want to like anytime someone's crowdfunding, I'm like, don't have me on your streams because I don't want to like mess your stuff up per
Mhm.
se. Now that's just who I am because well, I love people and I don't want to destroy them if I love them, you know. You know,
Yeah.
I love Rick. Rick knows I love him. Like Rick's like my fucking. Damn it! I swore again. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! So this is why I don't come on here, Rick. I'm sorry. Um, damn it! Now I lost my whole train of thought too.
What did you just say? Love me and all that.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, I love Rick, and yeah, and this is why, like, if Rick's doing like a campaign thing, I won't show up there anymore because I've got a bad traction, especially with a lot of people on the internet.
You know what, Rosie? As much as I want my sales and all that, I don't care. Like, uh, I would rather lose a sale than lose a friend or not be able to
Hey,
have my
Rick,
friend.
we're always gonna be friends, man. No
Yeah.
matter
Well,
what, dude. No
well,
matter what.
well.
I mean, like I said, you've got like you and me are friends on Facebook. And that's what I always measure people as. I'm like, unless you're my friend on Facebook, you're not my friend.
Yeah. Well,
You know, I've said this to multiple people.
I more mean like I'd rather have you. I'd rather lose a sale and be able to have my friends on and them talk, have their opinions or whatever, and be able to voice their opinions, then I'd rather lose the sale because people are more
Yeah,
important.
then yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I'd still feel guilty, mate.
As I've
I'd
made
still
my
feel guilty,
as I've made my motto
and I couldn't do that to you.
yeah, as I've made my motto for cross comics, God first, people second, comics third.
I like that.
Wait, God first, people second. No, it should be God first, family second, people third.
Well, family falls under people.
Oh, yeah, all right, good.
I do want to touch on something that Risey said because he mentioned Lady Death, Lady Death, and I do want to talk about Lady Death because I got into an argument on somebody's Discord where I had to just let it go because I'm like I don't want to continue the argument because I seen more than one person that does crowdfunding like to compare themselves or want to elevate Brian Pulido, and I'm like you can't compare because you're not in that league. Brian Pulido had not just a success
Yeah, no, I've
now,
seen a few. I've seen a few indie people tried that.
and I'm
Yeah,
like Brian Pulido
it's
had a
very
successful
cool.
book years ago that its interest died down. They tried
Uh
to
huh.
revamp it in cross gen. It didn't work. He got the license back. Now he's working the IP, and people are like, "Oh yeah, well you're taking away all his hard work." I'm like, "Okay, let me explain to you business. There's two things you could have a business of. It's either a service or a product. That's it. Those are the only two things every business is comprised of. Some are comprised of both. Brian Pulido has a product, and whether he puts in no
Yeah,
work or hard work
it's
determines
not just a
success.
product, but it's a cult following.
Exactly. And people are like, "Well,
It's
you're taking away the fact that he went to these cons." And I'm like, no, that's just marketing. He was working the market. That's
yeah,
fine. I'm
but
not
no, no,
taking
no,
away.
no, 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 no. I'm not taking any way thing away from
No,
him.
no, no.
I love
I was
this dude.
accused of that, of taking his
Oh,
hard work away
okay.
from him. But
Oh,
I'm like, I'm
sorry.
not taking his hard work. What I'm saying is that you can't compare, like, let's say Lone Star or, you could compare Cyberfrog. You could even compare Creed from Trent Carnuga of it because those are older properties. Now, Lady Death overshadowed them by far in the 90s. But what I'm saying is that you have to attest to the fact that it had a following and he was out there reaching to the following. So you can't compare an IP that you're like Lone Star or Graveyard Shift where you're barely starting the IP in crowdfunding. Lady Death already had a huge fandom in the 90s. Him going out there to do the, lay the groundwork for doing crowdfunding is literally him working the product. It would be like starting a whole new soda company and comparing yourself to Coke. You can't. Just, those are two different
Yeah,
products
no,
at this
you
point.
can't. I mean, like, what these CG guys, air quotations, are doing at the moment, um, they're doing pretty well for themselves. You know what I mean? They're making bank,
Some of
but
Yeah,
them.
yeah, and I'm not hating on them
I
for it.
know, I know, I've not seen not one single CG creation that I want to follow. Not a single one.
I
Not a
th-
single one.
I think I can name one.
But yeah, that's that. But that's me. That's me, Rick. That's just me.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just you. I said I think I can name one. Cross Comics, Canadian Shield. You want to
Oh,
follow?
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, damn it! You cut. Jesus, Rick, that doesn't count. You bastard. You fucking little shit. That doesn't fucking count, you fucker. I can swear there. You little shit. You plugged me into that. You SOB.
Hey, you're the one that just said about not following any of them. I am technically still CG as far
Yeah,
as I'm
but
concerned.
I don't consider you CG. I consider you indie. You know, I consider you an actual creator. Like you believe in your product. That's what I consider you. You know, a lot of these other people, I don't believe that they believe in their product. It's just money. That's
I
all
think
it is to them.
I think it's the amount of alcohol. COVID won't survive in Risey's body.
Hey, stuff you, dude. How'd you know about my alcohol addiction?
Everybody
That's not.
knows about your alcohol addiction.
Oh, that's not fair.
It's very widespread, knowingly. Rising.
Oh my lord! I was about to say another nasty word about someone that
See,
was on the Jack show earlier, but I will not do that on your show.
so Risey, What
And hello again, Mallet.
what manga are you reading, and why is it Naruto?
No, I've been reading Attack on Titan, even though I've already watched the show, and it's basically the exact same thing.
I was about to ask which
But
one's better, but if it's exactly the same thing,
it's pretty much the exact same thing. That's why I've got to like I'm planning on like getting the Gantz with a Z
yeah,
omnibus, because apparently that's completely different from the anime. So I'm planning on getting that by the end of this month. I think I ordered it. I don't know if I did or not, but the bookstore will tell me otherwise.
right. So you order your manga online then?
Mm. No, there's a bookstore like down the store from me, and yeah, that they will order stuff in. I mean, because I'm not going to the city anymore for this manga stuff. I'm like, I just don't rightfully care. I'm like, I only go if I could go to the if I went to the city and to the stores and I could get some statues and buy the statues as well, I'd go there. But no, there are no statues there. So no, Razi's not going all the way to the city. Sorry, not happening. Is that selfish? Probably a little bit. I don't
No,
know.
no, it's smart.
Sweet. Excellent. No, I don't
Sort of
think
on a
that's...
different note, and we're saying we're going to the city. How are things in
Well,
your?
yeah, like it takes about an hour to get to the city. And then, like, you've got to, like, at least spend, like, half an hour going to the shops. Like, you spend about an hour into the city. So it's a 3-hour trip minimum, no matter what. Even if you go in there, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Go in there, know what you're doing, and get in and out. You're still going to have a 3-hour trip
A
out
three-hour
of
tour.
home.
A 3-hour tour.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I need to know if my cats are okay. I'm sorry, I'm very superficial when it comes to my cats. I need to know if my cats are okay. I
But
love them. They're my
well,
babies.
as I was
I'll
trying
never
to,
have kids, but my cats are my kids.
an old cat man instead of cat lady.
I am. Yeah. Instead of a cat lady, I'm a cat man.
But no, I was going to say, how are things down in your area in Australia in regards to the coup? You know, I see a lot of things coming out of Melbourne and other places over
Oh,
there.
dude. Well, on the other side of Australia, it's all effed up. But
I have to
hey,
apologize to Rise.
I live on the fun side. I live on the Razi side. So
I
f
gotta
all the ninjas on that other side.
apologize to Risey. I never knew you were an Aussie. I always thought you were a Kiwi.
How dare you, you son of a bitch! I'm sorry, Rick. Fuck you, dude.
You know, and I've heard you on other channels, and I always assumed you were a Kiwi for some reason. My bad.
Oh, you ripped my heart out there, mate. You ripped my heart
I,
out.
I actually left a pretty like detailed comment on an Aussie's channel not too long ago. The comedian Isaac Butterfield. I don't know if you know who
Yeah,
he is.
I love that ninja. He's a fun dude.
Yeah, I like
My
his
brother
comedy,
got me into him.
but
He's a cool dude.
he could be a little liberal sometimes, and he was going at Texas hard, and I was like, I can't have that. Sorry, can't have that.
Oh
Mallet
wait,
says,
no,
Mallet
he's
says, Risey can't ever say hi to me.
Razzie can't ever say. Alright, Mallet! JP! What's up, yo? How you doing, player? Trust me, JP, I've never forgotten who you are. You're my favorite effing ninja. Much love. I'll never forget the time when we were playing that horror game. I was watching it, and you were like freaking out. We still need to get you to play State of Decay, or I forget what was the game that we are going to get you to play, JP. We will find out.
Part 1 or 2, Razy?
Sorry?
He says, sure, now you say hi.
State of Decay 1 or 2?
You wanted to? No, just he's been trucking with Test. Hey, tell Test Monkey I say much love. I miss him. He's my ninja.
He's your ninja?
I miss that guy. Yeah, my ninja. Yeah, that's what I say for the other word, because yeah, it's like I actually have gotten better at YouTubing words, Rick, surprisingly. Now I use the other word, and I use ninja as the other word. And it's like, yeah, it's my ninja. And they're like, yeah, you can't use that word, Razi. I'm like, why? Because of what?
Oh, okay, I know what he's using that for now.
And I'm like, yeah, well, then I'll just use ninja. And it's like, yeah, well, you can use ninja, because everyone loves ninjas. And if you don't love ninjas, then you hate China.
You know what?
You racist.
You know what? I can bet some people don't like ninjas. You know who they are?
The samurais?
Yes! The samurais!
Damn it!
Always simple with Rick.
They love the Japanese the most. Fuck you, Rick. Don't tell them that. They might betray me. I need my Japanese people. I love them. They're my favorite babies. Be my friends.
But
Don't be my enemy.
I do believe ninjas and samurais are both Japanese or all Oriental.
Don't you dare say that they're the same. Don't you dare.
No, I just mean they're both come from all the Oriental things, or at least I think they're both Japanese.
What is the? Don't say what is the same. Ninjas and what?
Samurais.
At one point, samurais went Ronin and became leaders of the shinobi clans. Samurais who did not want to die for their daimyo went into the woods, trained with monks and the common folk, and married common folk, and became Ronins. And then later on arose as the heads of the shinobi clans.
I am not anti-Asian, Mallet. Mallet's anti-Asian. Hello, Space.
I'm sorry, Mala. I'll always call you. I'm sorry, Mala. I'll always call you JP. I love you, dude. I can't ever change it.
Mallet's hilarious. I love Mallet.
Who's Space Gorilla? He says, hello, all. Hello, Space Gorilla.
It's Space Galleria.
Yeah, hello, Space Galleria.
Oh, Galleria?
Galley, as in a gallery, Galleria.
Mm-hmm.
And like in an art gallery.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't say that many letters with my Australian accent.
You're forgiven, I think.
I'm pretty sure I can do it. Space Galleria. Galleria.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
He says, laugh out loud. Gorilla is always the deal. I get. I love it. So he doesn't wait.
Hey, at least Space is down with it, man. I mean, Space is cool. Because I remember when I first started popping up on YouTube, everyone would always call me Rizzy Lee. Rizzy Lee! It's Rizzy Lee, Ninja. But everyone always called me Rizzy Lee, Rizzy Lee. You behave, Rizzy Lee. And I'd be like, who the hell is Rizzy Lee? Oh, apparently I'm Rizzy. look at JP. He's like, Nizzy Lee. Oh, JP. JP, you should jump on. Get on here, man. I haven't spoke to you in a long time. Has JP got the link?
Well,
Rick
anybody, I think he's on my Discord. And as I said, the link to my Discord's in the thing, so anybody can join. It's in the chat or whatever. And, it's just the on air.
Yeah. JP, jump on, man. I miss you, man. I really miss JP. I love that dude. It was like, yeah, it was my funnest guy to ever hang out with. I remember one of my first drinking streams was with JP, and we were like drinking while he was at a hotel or something. It was so much fun. It was excellent. I loved it. I'll never forget that. JP, I'll never forget that. It meant a lot to me.
He did call you Dizzy Lee, though.
Yeah, but he did that because he's trying to be a little shit.
These things cannot be told. I'm a class act now.
Oh, he's a class act now. You're not going to join me? Oh, wow. Oh, you hurt my feelings. My feelings, they're hurt. JP, they're bleeding. They're bleeding. My heart right now is in the middle of my chest.
So
and
you
it's
say,
bleeding.
so Rising, you're saying you're a bleeding heart?
I am a bleeding heart. I'm a bleeding heart for you, JP. My heart is bleeding. And are you gonna do heart surgery?
He says he's at
No.
work. He can't jump on because
He's at work. He's at work now. Oh! He's at work. At work with my goddamn Scarlett Johansson clones. You SOB! How dare you! I've still not got one. A single one in the mail yet, JP. Not a single one.
So that's looking good. What do you guys think of these 3 panels?
I like that chick's hair.
Yeah, I think John made it a little bit too long. Actually, I wonder whether I can get him to change the glove. He made mitts when she's supposed to have gloves on.
I don't know. I think those mitts are pretty fine.
Well, it's just when she's revived, she has gloves.
Honestly, I would try to put like more input into the front part where, like wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th panel.
Oh, this one? I haven't done anything on this one yet. Well, except put those basic.
Yeah. Try to I'd say just try to put some more. Like, I think it's pretty much fine it is.
Well, this one's
it's gonna get, but try to put more depth into this snow.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to
right now, I'm just
the hands.
If you see the lines here where it's the blue's not going quite to the lines, I still need to do all that in this. I still need to color the mountains and the thing, and then I'm going to be doing the shading and the lighting in it.
Oh yeah, I get it.
I have my little bit of a process. And hello, Eagle. Yes, we have Rising on. I was just working on the top 3 panels today to get them all the colors pretty much, to the lines and all that properly.
You're doing all the flats?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's colors and flats at the same time because except for putting the lighting on, I'm not going to be changing probably much in the panels. For coloring, like it's going to stay that blue for her thing. I might put some shading. I got to figure out how to distinguish the snowflakes from the the snow on the ground. Still, you know.
Now, the only thing I don't know, I'm probably like completely wrong,
Yeah.
but I would like say, I mean, because this is digital, right, Rick?
Yeah.
All right, so I would say, like, can you turn the third panel to face the right side, just to see how that looks?
Sure. Not with the way it is right
Just
now.
because,
I would have to.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's just
One sec.
the
I
way
can.
it's just like,
I can do
why
that.
would if it's on the second panel and we're meant to be transitioning to the other panels, why would we be looking back to the other panel? That's what I'm thinking. But that's just my
Maybe,
outlook of it. But I'm also drunk, so F knows what I know.
here we can make a thing.
You raised me drunk? I don't believe it.
Dude, I'm always drunk.
Okay, so let's Control X, Control V, and then let's not rotate. Transform. That would be horizontally, right?
Oh, actually, that kind of looks worse. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because I was used to looking at it there. I mean, I think it's better, like, if we're looking more forward to where the rest of the page is going,
Yeah.
as opposed to looking back to where we were, sort of thing.
Yeah. I actually sort of agree.
That's just but that's my assumption. I would ask Dillard
Well,
about this
I
before.
I do
Yeah.
like. Well, it's easy enough to. I'm going to be putting it back the way it was for now, till it gets colored. It's just because it'd be.
You're not gonna listen to me.
No, what I mean is because I've got because
Just
so
joking.
to do that I had to put everything on the same layer, and I don't like everything on the same layer. And when I'm doing my coloring, so I can once it's all fully colored, I can flip it. I can even think about where the lighting's coming from the reverse, I guess. And yes, this is.
Well, I like this chick. Did you do all this yourself?
No,
Did you draw all this?
no, this is John. John is drawing Snowdrift #1.
John's drawing this.
I'm coloring it.
So he's gone over it.
No, he's
Okay.
he's not even going over what I did. He's drawing the whole thing. He's using the thumbnail stuff that we came up with.
What I mean is, are you coloring the parts?
Oh yeah, I'm coloring everything.
All right, yeah.
Oh hey, Risey, I know you haven't seen. You haven't seen any of the pages of the Canadian Shield #2, have you?
Evidently not.
Well, there's page 1.
I mean, I think it's been a long time since I spoke to you.
Yeah. But and
Oh,
I should,
there we
can you are you watching YouTube or not?
go. I'm watching the YouTube panel, and I'm also not paying attention to the Wait, no, even on the computer thing. Wait, why is this so weird? All right, well, I'm just gonna keep watching the computer screen.
Yeah, just because I'm going to show you the
What service are we using right now?
we're talking together in Discord. But
Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I hate it. Yeah, that makes sense. I hate Discord.
But yeah, there's page 1. Although it's going to take you a few seconds to see. I wonder whether I can. Out in the out in the chat there.
It's like you've got like a He-Man villain in there now. I love it.
Let's see. Camera. Hold on. Just give me a sec.
That's what all my ex-wives say. Just give me a second, right? I'm like, damn it.
Okay, you should on Discord be able to see it now. Did it affect? Now the question is, did doing that affect?
No, but I'm on my mobile, so I'll have to effing like change.
I wasn't sure.
That.
Well, I'm just saying.
Hold on. I can probably wait. All right, where is it? We can make this cool again, Steven. Wait, now we got a bunch of cat pictures. I love cats. Wait, no, these are all GIFs. This is YouTube.
Yeah, like here in Discord. Where are you on Discord? On your computer? On your phone?
I don't know, but it's just coming up with my YouTube things that I've just spent the last hour watching. Damn it! You SOB.
Like if you're in Discord here, you can just click on my.
I'm just gonna watch
YouTube?
You on here.
On YouTube? Or...
It's way too much of a noise. I'm gonna go find my extra beer.
Okay.
Let's go do it.
Well, there's page 1. Here's page 2.
Yeah, I like that Green Goblin guy.
Toxico. Page 3.
And Toxico.
Page 4. Page 5. 6. And look, Risey. Dylan's in my book.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Actually, I'm probably going to sell that space or try and sell that space to somebody during my thing.
Hey, don't you dare sell that. You love your Dylan. You SOB. Wait, where'd my other beer go? Damn it, I lost it.
Sell that one and this other guy, Ramos.
Who's Ramos?
Somebody I know.
Oh, you can't sell Ramos out here. You gotta love Ramos. Don't be a ninja, brother.
Yes, Ramos is a good guy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you gotta love your people. You gotta love your people, man. I mean, those are the people that back your books. They're the people that actually give a damn about you. So
yeah, he's okay, but he could be obnoxious at times.
Well, everyone's obnoxious at times. I'm a drunk and an SOB at all times, but I've always loved Rick.
And here's page 7.
So,
Page 8.
no, damn, there you go. Look how much John's already done for you, dude.
No, John didn't do these pages.
Isn't? Wait, he didn't?
No, this is another artist called Efren Crespo.
Well, you better get down on your knees and thank God for him, man, because this guy's really talented.
And then the page 9.
I mean, I'd be really thankful for that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I am. And I've got, although I don't think I've shown anybody, I've got 2 other pages by him. Not colored yet. Missing page 10, I believe. But I got pages 11 and 12. I'm going to open them here. Show them off.
Yeah, well, it looks bloody dope, man.
So,
yeah, like I just say, I mean, honestly, make sure you give major respect to the people that are doing this work for you.
oh yeah, of course. And we'll end up having him on. Well, here's page 11. And then page...
That was nice, that other page.
Yeah.
Both of these are.
Yeah, look at that. That's just like, yeah.
Who's that talking to?
Traditional thing. Yeah, that still looks dope.
Actually, I had to do a few minor corrections on that page.
Is that an angel?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an angel. I had to do some minor corrections on the page to get like he forgot to put the collar on for.
Dude, I really like that bottom panel where he's stepping into it.
Dude, honestly, I would be happy that, like, I wouldn't correct anything because I'd just be happy that, like, he's putting this much effort into it.
Oh yeah, but I'm just talking like, you see right here, there I put this.
Yeah, but I know. I mean, I know you've got like these very what's the nice word of using it? What you do, analyst,
analytical.
Yeah, like you look too much into it. But the thing is that
what I mean is just you can't tell
your
where
creation. But Rick, this is the thing. Your creation is never gonna look like you want it to look. Well, and the fact is that you've got like a lot of fucking people helping you out on this fucking.
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
I swore again. I'm sorry. I swore again. I just realized.
But I'm just saying, say Messenger right here, if you can see it. He doesn't have the shirt color from where his skin would be to, like his shirt. So there's nothing to differentiate there. Well, there would be if, putting color in, but other than that.
Yeah, but.
So it's
well, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. There is a bit of an annoyance looking at that panel, but
it's just.
I mean,
that's what I mean.
Do you really think that a lot of people are going to focus on that image there? I would be more worried about like my main character in the background, like the guy, the Canadian Shield with the mohawk.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about him and how he looks than this.
Yeah, trust me, I definitely am, Well, because I even did a little bit of stuff on the Canadian Shield. If you look at the 2 different panels. But yeah, and I like what the guy's doing for sure. I'm not trying to knock him or anything.
Anyway, we might have been ignoring the chat for a little while. Have you caught
Not
up
much.
with that?
Yeah, well, Mallet says, I think Eagle needs a PBY ornament, and Eagle says, yes, can a lion flying boat? And then Eagle does a thinky face.
The fuck is a PBY ornament? I'm going to Google that because I know JP wouldn't lead me wrong.
So, but it is 2:50. I've got about 50 minutes longer than I normally do. So I think,
Oh, yeah.
it's been great having,
Hey, dude, it's been great catching up with you again, my friend.
Yeah. And of course, you're welcome here anytime, Risey. So
Thank you very much.
tomorrow I will be on at After Dark. We'll be on. We'll be drawing up one of my characters at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Eastern p.m. So hopefully everybody can stop by for that, and I guess we'll catch you all later. So have a great and wonderful day. Love y'all.
Bye.